better sit down. I got some news. I'm getting out.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Memphis on the Mark. I am Mark Jones, your host, and today's special guest is Benjamin Rednour. Ben, welcome.
Welcome, Mark. Thank you.
How are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for filling in. I had a guest literally cancel at the last minute.
Happy to fill in.
I am glad. I'm glad you're in the building.
Yeah. Happy to be B team.
Yeah. Well, no, you're an A team, but I said this guy. I'm just a little odd.
Just in the office.
You're in the office.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this office because this actually is a cool space.
Yes.
We're in the conference room.
Yes. This is a co-work space for filmmakers. Essentially, we have come together, a large group of us, essentially to kind of pool our resources together and collaborate more on projects, assist each other where needed, bring in clients. It's nice to be able to get as many jobs as you can and then work as a team and kind of knock those out and just kind of move forward.
It's nice. You've got about, 6 offices, and I rent an office.
Yes.
And then you
rent's due, by the way. It's the 4th.
No, I paid you last week.
Oh, you did.
How about you?
Yeah, so we went from about 4 of us in a warehouse in Cooper Young in Memphis.
Next to the tracks.
Next to the tracks. And then we expanded and came to Minglewood Hall. And so we went from 4 to about 20 filmmakers.
Yeah.
There's about 9 different companies in here and 6 different freelancers. So as someone a writer, director, you're able to find different DPs, sound operators, editors, engineers, other things you're looking for. So hopefully the space works for you.
It does so far, and I get to shoot here in the conference room.
Yes.
Every couple of months, my little YouTube show.
We love your show.
Well,
it's a good show.
I appreciate
You should
that.
subscribe, like and subscribe to Mark's show, get the notifications, click on the bell.
Thank you. Good night, everyone. So, speaking of work, you have just completed an incredible documentary.
Yes, we spent 2.5 years following the housing crisis in Memphis. There was, after the recession, about a 10-year period, 25% of all the single-family homes in Memphis fell into foreclosure. Wow. And so there was a lot of...
Is that more or less than the rest of the country?
I don't know. I'm not a housing expert, so
Sure,
I'm not even gonna answer that. I'm only on Memphis. So 25% of the single-family housing stock fell into foreclosure. There's a lot of disinvestment in the core city neighborhoods. A lot of people moved out. A lot of people left. And so the city and nonprofits and indigenous leaders around the county had to come together, and they've really developed innovative practices to fight blight, essentially.
Right.
And actually, Memphis is one of the leading cities, and Shelby County, one of the leading counties in the nation with this issue. So they're partnering with sister cities that have had large population loss or housing issues, predatory lending. And so they've all kind of come together, shared best practices, worked with code enforcement in the city and everybody else, and really tried to just fight this issue and get reinvestment back in the city.
Well, it's amazing because it's a 10-part series, 9-part series?
It's currently an 8-part.
8-part.
And we're working on the 9th.
So, because you premiered, so it's a full documentary, but it's also broken down into 10, 12-minute segments.
Yeah.
So you have shown individual segments across the city, and then you have also shown the entire thing.
Right. So we filmed all over the county, all throughout Memphis, and then we would try to premiere an episode that was pretty prominent for that neighborhood, in that neighborhood, and invite people from the neighborhood, local leaders from the neighborhood to come and watch it, give feedback. We would always kind of have the internal audience, the housing audience, but we really wanted them to be able to interact with local community members as much as possible.
Right.
So it was a good mix, because you would get community leaders from different neighborhoods, you would get housing experts, you would get people from the city there, and so it was great. Developers would show up, so we'd watch these episodes, like you said, 10 or 15 minutes a piece, And then we'd kind of have this panel discussion about people who are in it, and just really great dialogue. And so it's an 8-part series, and then we cut it into a feature-length documentary. It's about an hour and a half. It's really, really inspiring. Shows a lot of what the amazing people in the city are doing. And from a filmmaker's perspective, it's overwhelming in the sense that there's so many great stories. There's so many hardworking people. Who do you say, you don't get to be in this, we're gonna have to edit you out, or we're gonna have to edit part of this interview out, and we're gonna have to, so like Jordan Daniels is the director, and he said the hardest part isn't finding what to put on screen, the hardest part is what to take and not show on screen. So
that's almost any film.
Yeah.
But this is such an important topic. You hate to, some guys got 5 minutes of great information, but you can only really
show
use
2
minutes.
Right. And then a lot of the citizens in the city and county opened their doors up and kind of talked to us about the issues they were going through, whether it be slumlords or they felt like they were taken advantage of. And I've never, in 20 years of filming, I've never had anyone really open up their doors like people did here, and just let us into their homes and showed us some of the conditions that these landlords were keeping them in. And there's a lack of a quality affordable housing in the city.
Right.
And so you say, well, you just go somewhere else. Well, there's literally nowhere else to go because we have so many out-of-town owners that are disinvesting in these properties. Where are these people going to live? And this isn't Section 8. This isn't vouchers. These people are paying $700 a month. Some people are paying 50% of their income to live in these conditions.
And yeah, I've seen some of the parts of the documentary, and some of the conditions are horrible.
Right. And so
sewer leaking.
Yeah, it's gut-wrenching. And so, yeah, if there were brand new apartments and affordable housing for everyone, this wouldn't be an issue, but it is an issue. It just kind of crept up and happened. It feels like overnight, but it took a long time. I mean, you blink and these things just kind of run rampant. So the city's doing their best to fix it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, I guess the Great Recession, it was probably happening, and then the Great Recession occurred, and that was like there were leaks in the dam.
Yeah. And then it just kind of, the levee broke.
The levee broke.
Yeah. And so it not only shows the pitfalls, but it shows the success stories. And that's what took so long. And as a filmmaker, we were charged with showing success, because it's one thing to have blight porn and to show abandoned,
Right.
but it's another thing to really follow a story for 2 years. Or we followed 70 plus people in this city, and we were able to capture some really amazing stories and see the work that all these people are doing.
Right. And what's the name of the film again?
In the Absence.
Okay. Is there a way people can see it yet?
Not at the moment. We're working on that. So we're doing a slow release, going to do the film festival circuit. And then when we go to festivals, we'd like to talk to housing authorities in that city, or maybe code enforcement departments or universities in that city, and kind of show it, because there are a couple of universities here and a couple high schools that want it as teaching curriculum. To be able to show people, okay, this is how some people are living in this city. Not everything's as peachy and honky-dory as you think it is, and it's also it helps with economics to say, okay, well, if some people do pay $700 to live in a situation like this, and they start doing the economics of it. So if you only make $1,000 a month, or you only make $2,000 a month, and you're living this, how do you buy groceries? How do you have public transit? Or are you paying for a car? Because we all know cars are expensive. So there's just a lot of different ways you could kind of take this as a curriculum and share it.
Well, I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Do you have any good projects coming up that we could work on together?
Well, I am. You have helped produce and edit 2 of my short films.
Amazing short films.
Yes, Deaths in a Small Town.
Yes.
That was really good. And Winding Brook.
Yes. Love both.
Love both. Yes, they were fun.
The humor in Deaths in a Small Town is a little bit more up my alley.
It is extremely dark.
Yes, it's great. Very dry.
Humor. It's on the internet. It's on the YouTube. Deaths in a Small Town. The S's are $signs. Just if the kids at home want to look it up, you want to look it up, kids. It's the S's are $signs.
And the guy that gets stabbed behind the diner.
Oh, we had to cut that.
Oh, that's right. I did get edited out.
Yeah.
Oh, I edited myself out.
Yeah, no.
Or did you hire Laura Jean to edit it out?
No, yeah. Well, and that's an example of a great segment, but in order to make the movie tight, we had to edit out.
It's true. I had to edit myself out.
You had to edit yourself out.
I don't remember that. I guess I just blacked it out.
Blocked it out. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, I'm very sorry that to bring this back up again.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Drama.
You edit and you direct. Have you done any short films lately?
No. Basically, with the documentary and then this co-working space have kind of been the focus for me for the last couple of years. Also being like the technology nerd here and making sure that things are working and interfacing with the landlord. As of right now, where some of the power is out. Well, we blew a breaker last night setting up for this.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And so just small things like that. Just trying to keep it all together and make sure everybody has what they need. And then, trying to include people who aren't in our small community, but, recruit new people and see how they can all fit in and,
Well, there are a lot of desks here.
There are.
There are offices and then there are desks.
Yeah, we do day playing. We've had a couple films actually do run their productions through here.
That's right.
BET was in here. Thank you for letting them use
your
your
office.
office.
I gave my office up, yes.
Yes, you did. And so they were doing a TV show here, a pilot. There was a film called Sun, and a lot of times they'll use our conference room and kind of run their productions through it. But then I think was it Netflix, Uncorked, rented another part of the facility. So it's been helpful.
Great.
It's very malleable.
Nice word.
Can't spell it.
Well, I can't spell a lot of words. Well, anything else going on? Your garden some?
I do, but it's chocked full of weeds and leaves at the moment.
Yes.
And
Well, it is like 40 degrees outside.
It is, and I broke 2 bones in my hand, so I haven't been doing any gardening. I have to have surgery next week, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
When you get in a fight?
Tequila. I got in a fight with tequila.
Well,
and tequila won.
Tequila always wins. It's like the house always wins. Tequila always wins.
Yeah, I went to a wedding of a coworker that's in our space, and there were tequila shots, and that's about all I remember.
That's why we didn't have liquor at my wedding. We had beer, but no liquor because we were worried that you might.
I blame Jacob Geyer. It's not my fault. It's Jacob's fault.
Jacob and the tequila.
Yes. We wanted to do shots.
Dadgum.
This is why I don't touch alcohol that much.
Yeah, well, I stopped drinking a while back.
Yeah.
Because I used to drink a lot.
Did you?
Yes. And I shared a story on a previous episode of my first time with moonshine.
Oh, goody.
My first and only time with moonshine.
Yeah, did you break any bones?
No, but I lost my voice for about 2 days. I sounded like this.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's got to be some photos somewhere.
No, I was in a very rural part of our nation.
Great.
So no, because you'll have to watch the episode. It's the one with Drew Smith.
Oh, fun.
Yes.
Can you just tell me where it is so I don't have to watch the whole thing with Drew?
It's toward, right, exactly.
Is it like edit
It's
9?
it's
like
in,
minute 9 or
it's
something
in like
that?
the second half, if not the last third of the, I think that's right. Isn't that about right, Drew? Yeah.
Can you just send me the clip so I don't have to watch the whole thing?
Yeah.
I'll put it on mute so it counts the view, but I don't like Drew.
Oh, well, I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, I like him, but I can see where other people hate his guts.
Just the shirts, you know what I mean?
He wore a good shirt today.
Yeah, see? You know what I mean? The flamboyant personality. He's very big. I could hear him when he was doing the episode. Very, very overacting.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So I'm sensing a clash of...
Well, he's not in the space. He never will be in the space.
No. All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to do a thing I like to call Moments with Mark.
Go ahead. Go for it.
And I'm actually going to do 2 moments with Mark today in honor of something that Mr. Rednour said earlier. I was in New York recently, and they've got Hudson Yards is a new development. They've got the old train station yard. It's an active train yard, and they have put a platform over it, and they've built these tall buildings. A lot of new development. Well, we have a train yard here in Memphis. It's across from the Coliseum, across from the fairgrounds, and they used to move cargo on it, but they just stopped. And so we could get some money from the government and build some raised, you got 30-foot raised platforms and put new affordable housing on that. So That's my first moment with Mark. And now my second one that I have planned, I had already planned for this episode, is we have a lot of out-of-town visitors. So this is a free idea for the Memphis tourism. So we need to get people like who are fluent in Spanish, and they can be downtown, they can be at the airport, and they have on they wear a little placard that says "I speak Spanish," and so in Spanish. And so if we have a Spanish visitor who needs to, where's the Civil Rights Museum? How do I get to Graceland? They see someone on Main Street and I speak Spanish, and they can go talk to them. And we have got a lot of German visitors, and so I speak German, and have these people at the airport, again at the downtown, at the zoo. I speak Japanese, because we have a lot of Japanese visitors, and so this will be easy for them to see, easy to read, and it'll help. And then we could get maybe some guys, drag queens, dressed like Barbara Billingsley, and they can say, "I speak jive." So there's a lot we can do. And so this is a free gift of mine to the Memphis Tourism, the Downtown Commission, and take all of that, use some of it, whatever. So an extra special 2 moments with Mark, build our own little mini Hudson Yards near the fairgrounds, and then I speak jive downtown. All right. Ben, thank you for being my guest today. Thank you for filling in.
Those are some interesting moments.
Well, I try. All right. Well, thank you. Good night.